Um, yeah. Hi, Anirudh.
Hello.
Welcome. Um, yeah, we've been speaking off screen and communicating a lot about how to go about starting on your journey with UiPath, and you've already started to take some steps in that direction. So I just wanted to catch up with you and hopefully make this into a repetitive or a recurring event where we can
Yeah.
meet every week or every 2 weeks and then review the progress. But at the same time, I would also like to make this a public journey for the both of us, where we can share with the wider audience in
Yeah.
the UiPath
Absolutely.
community or the RPA community, as to if someone wanted to have their own journey along the lines of what we are doing, they could also follow it and either just follow along, do the same thing, play at home, or they could communicate with us and also get give us some input as to what could be done better or what we could change to make this progress or process very simple or simpler than it is. So I would like to start with the thing, the main tracker that we've set up, so that we can see how we are going forward with this. So I think just to review a couple of things that we've already discussed are
Yes.
setting up your
Yeah.
accounts on various platforms or components in the UiPath world. Now, the first of all, just to say again a little bit, I've already gone on and on about this, but the reason to choose UiPath or to to recommend UiPath to you was it's twofold. A, it's
Yeah.
obviously by all factors that are graded by international indexes. They are really, UiPath as a business and as a technology company, they have a really wide presence. And also my personal favorite, which is the second reason, that is, for a developer to start learning, UiPath has always been the first go to option, because
Yeah.
UiPath were, I think, the first one to present the option to have the community edition, and then other platforms have followed suit. But it's always been one of the core beliefs for UiPath to make education free for all, which is why they've
Yeah.
always extended a little bit of community license in every new technology platform or component that they launch. You can always have a taste of it by using your community license, including giving you a full orchestrator, which is like the cloud platform where you can manage your automations and
Yeah.
run them as well
Yeah.
across different machines. So I think that's a little bit of the introduction as to
Yeah.
why UiPath. Um, was there anything that you wanted to cover, or any maybe ask clarification on one of those things?
As of now, I don't have any questions because, like, I have been very clear as we have been in communication past 1 month, like
Yeah.
2 months now. I have created my account. I have installed the UiPath, and gradually, I'm just going as the flow what we have decided in the Excel, which we have mentioned in the Excel, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, that's cool. So I mean, as we are going through the list, I'm just going to change some of the statuses as relevant. So you said you've already created the accounts, and
Yeah.
we also communicated offline about this. So
Yeah.
I know that you've been working on this for the past couple of days. In fact, you've already started going through the next steps and going to the
Absolutely.
through
Absolutely.
the learning. So what I wanted to emphasize and also confirm with you and emphasize for the viewers or listeners
Yeah.
is that you have used the same email address across these three platforms.
Absolutely. I have used the same mail ID, which I have been like which has been created past so many years. So that's the only mail ID I have right now with me. So for installing for uh, becoming a member of in the cloud, okay, for every platform there's the same mail ID.
Okay. And so just so that we also have this in, for on the record,
Yeah.
why I wanted to emphasize, why I emphasize on this is that, as I told you before, whenever you complete a course on the UiPath Academy, your course progress is automatically linked to your
Mail.
forum account, because of which when you complete, let's say, the master degree, which is like, sorry, the third advanced developer course, you will automatically become a robot master on forum. So y- your progress on the portal automatically becomes your proof of expertise on forum as well.
Yeah.
And having that same account for cloud just makes it easier to be across different platforms, I mean, across everything with UiPath. So it's just it's my general recommendation. I don't think it's emphasized on that very specifically, because it's not really a rule or a
Yeah.
compulsion that you must use that. Sometimes it makes more sense to have a cloud account for your organization if you're
Yeah.
working already in UiPath world, but then you want to carry on your learning regardless of which employer you're working with. So there may be reasons why Academy should be your personal account versus Cloud UiPath account may be your work account. That's
Yeah.
a separate discussion. But otherwise, if you're just doing this for your own personal learning, then yeah, I think it's a very good practice to just use a singular account across platforms.
Yeah.
So I'll call this completed as of, you know.
On the same date, okay? You can just put it the 15th.
Yep. So I think that's all covered, all good.
Yeah.
Now, and these are really, arbitrary, so they're just for our benefit. This has nothing to
Actually,
do with record keeping. So
actually,
um, next part, as you've already started, what I'm trying to do is give you everything right here so that you don't actually have to go and seek these things out. So you've already followed the link and went to RPA Developer Foundation course. You shared earlier that you've already completed it halfway through,
yeah.
but you also did mention that you had a few questions about that.
Yeah, actually, the question was like very basic, But as I started with the foundation course, it is of 38 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are different modules, and we have to go step by step.
Yep.
And once we complete a single module, in that the certificate is generated automatically.
Correct.
I know it's not the final certificate, but yeah, the main. I was about to tell you. There was no question, but I was telling you that this is happening. If you complete one module, you get the certificate. Yeah, the same thing.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep. So yeah, and so that's why the foundation course is a really important one in my opinion, because if you followed, let's say, if you went through forum, or if you started your journey completely unaware of what how UiPath, how to tackle or how to approach learning UiPath, I
yeah,
think Academy would be always my first recommendation, because I think, I mean, of course, there are many different technology providers in the RPA space, and they all have their own respective, learning platforms.
yeah,
Academy has has always been really, full of information. There's almost um, everything that you would
yeah,
want to learn in UiPath world available in the form of a course. They also try and keep it up to date as much as possible. So
yeah,
you'll see that it usually comes attached with the version number, current version number. So we are speaking in 2023. So
yeah,
this is, you might think that this is outdated, but the way the versioning works in UiPath is, they're always working with in the current year, and this is something that we haven't discussed, so I think it's new information for you as well.
absolutely. It's a new
um,
thing.
but the way UiPath product lifecycle works is that you, in your current year, whatever year that is, you have a fast track version which comes out in April of that year. So in April 2023, they would have come out with a fast track version, which is the latest and greatest updates from UiPath, be it UiPath Studio or UiPath Assistant, all of that.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the same time, they'll also be supporting a more stable version from the last year. So 2022 October would be the latest version, which would
Yes.
be 2022.10. We are looking at 21.10,
One.
and that is the latest for RPA Developer Foundation. But
Yeah.
as you go deeper and really start to work with different versions, sometimes there is a requirement to be working on a certain version because some customers may be, or some companies may stick to that as a standard practice, and they upgrade when that version is about to be put out of circulation.
Okay.
That happens typically every, like, for 3 years. So any version you're currently on, so 21.10, it usually would go out in 24. So by
Okay.
24 you would have to move to 22 at least, because 21 won't be supported after 3 years.
Okay.
That's and yeah, uh, this is the like generic information. Of course it
Yeah.
changes. The best way to do that is to, I mean, if you really must find out, the easiest way to go do that is just go to Google and look for um, product lifecycle. So you just search UiPath product lifecycle, and it'll tell you exactly where things stand currently.
Wow.
This, it's important to know this because it doesn't only restrict itself to the macro things, which is like not just UiPath Studio, but every UiPath Studio version can only support a certain version of activities inside it. So if I looked at, let's say, UiPath Studio, which is usually our most important one, Studio. So
Yeah.
current version is, as I said, fast track. So 4 in April it came out. So that's the LTS. Oh, sorry, this, okay, it says LTS here, but I believe this should be FTS, which is fast track support, I think,
Okay.
or fast support, something like that. But anyway, like I was saying, the latest table would be 2022 October, and then before that it's 2022 April. I don't think you might get a question about this in interview, but I
Yeah.
think it's really important to know because um, as an individual learner, you will be using Community Edition most of the times, and it might confuse you to see that if you actually looked at your UiPath Studio right now, you're probably on 23.6, which got the update in June. So it's not showing you April, it'll show June, because
Good.
we are currently in July, almost at the end of July, and latest update is from June. So it won't say 4, it will be 6, and that could confuse you because this kind of mainly applies to enterprise licenses.
Okay.
Okay, so the 21.10 training will probably cover these versions. So 21.4 is the fast track support. Oh, sorry, I lost track there. So these are all showing LTS for
Yeah.
Studio, but I believe one of these should be fast track support. Regardless, this is what the training course is showing, and anything that is new in addition to that one may yet be incoming, or
Updated.
yeah, it should be updated soon enough. Speaking of which, I must stress that because this is foundation, that much of a difference won't really matter in this case anyway, because this is just to give you a taste of what to expect in the course. Although it will give you an entire like a very clear idea of everything. As you'll see, most of these are in Studio, so you'll get a really good feel of what UiPath Studio is like.
Yeah.
There are many aspects in UiPath Studio, some of which you may use heavily, some of which you may only use sporadically. But it's really important to know either way, um, what is what. So as soon as you finish this, and uh, this is kind of like, it's unofficial, but I don't mind saying it on record. The 40 minutes that you see, it's a generic guideline. Like you would really have to be a, I don't know, like a slow reader, or you have to
Yeah.
really multiple times give it a read to
Yeah.
really take that long for every module. So even if it says 38 hours, I think you could do it, let's say, safely in a weekend's time, you know,
Okay.
like
Okay.
handling your other activities, and yet you should be able to do it in a weekend, maybe tack on another day. So it's not 38 hours of continuous learning. You could probably just, smash them through in some free time on a weekend,
Yeah.
and maybe another extra day just to wrap everything up. Um, Another thing I really want to mention here is that most of these training courses, like most of the modules, they come with their own quizzes. So
Yes.
they'll
Yes.
have like 10 questions, and your mark score, it must be 70 or 80 depending on what
Yeah.
course you're taking. um, when I was learning, and this was um, 7-8 years ago,
Okay.
this training was the only thing I could find as a really reliable resource in learning UiPath. I
Wow.
took those quizzes like gospel. Like I tried to be 100 in every one of them. All I wasn't always, but then that gave me a good learning, because it will tell you when your answer is wrong. So even that's a good way to learn
Absolutely.
what you don't know. So that way you can find out what you don't know and just focus on that. So I think that's why, bringing back to this is very important. So I think this is something that we'll track as
Yeah.
the first target for you. So I'll make it in progress
In
now.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah, you've already done this. I mean, updated LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
So I think what we just need to wait for is the yeah
Certificate.
diploma. Yeah, and then I think as an extra comment I had said, your so also on your LinkedIn profile, you, so let's say we'll call it, let me modify this a little bit. So this you've already done that, because you told me that you were in the process of bringing your account up to date.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm gonna call it done.
Done. Yeah.
Next is we'll update the profile. So add diploma of this course. Yeah.
Yes.
So that, do you think that's a realistic timeline?
Absolutely. Yeah. It can be done within that.
Yeah. So that would depend on completion of this, and then I would say that experience that you've already completed in Pune,
Yeah.
I would say add that ASAP. So that, once you're done, you have access to this, so you can also uh, make that done. Now I realize that you have, you know like, we have 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
next week we are not meeting, but then we will catch up 2 weeks from now,
Yes.
on yeah, on that day. So at that time, I think these two are like pretty easy targets to nail
Easy
down.
targets. Absolutely.
But
Yes.
yeah, let us keep this as our primary target, and then as you go on, if you find something helpful. Oh yeah, actually I could add another thing to your kind of to-do list, and I'll put this as a higher priority above the other ones.
Okay.
um, Become active member on UiPath program. I'm asking you to do this not because, I mean, aside from, just like, this is not to achieve some kind of proof that you're really doing this, but going to the forum and just participating in discussions actually might give you some answers that even I sometimes go to forums and
Oh,
end up learning something new.
Okay.
and that's like a never ending journey. You'll always have something new to learn. You'll see how the community generally operates, how they communicate, and you'll see some members who are more active than the others, so you could actually ask for help from them directly on forum. It's itself is like a platform, a social platform almost, because and this again specifically about UiPath. We are not yet
Yes.
going to, let's say, Automation Anywhere or Power Platform. We will eventually probably get into that, but let's just
Okay.
stay with the UiPath. In forums you can not, I mean, of course, if you go to the main forum homepage, you'll see all the latest posts, people contributing. Some of them will, you can see how frequently new posts are being made and how
Yes.
frequently people are responding. So there's like every time I open this number just goes up for all the new messages, and unread, these are like sorry, new forums posts, and unread are like topics that I've seen once but haven't responded, or maybe since I responded, new replies have come in. So
Okay.
there are many threads like that which I've actively maybe tracked or looked at, and then more stuff coming in. There's also a very important component here, which is messages. So you can directly access personal messages from here. These are notifications, but if you go to your profile, there's a whole inbox here, which
Okay.
people have reached out to me with problems they're stuck at, or like just every time we get new updates about the MVP program, then we get information about that. And all of these things have been really helpful for me to learn new things. Like as I'm helping people, I also learn a thing or two in return. So that's definitely something, like this is um, the reason to add this to this list
Yeah.
was that
So
this is like first important resource about learning about UiPath platform in general,
yeah.
and everything else that you don't learn from the platform, like technical troubleshooting, some weird stuff that's not working in community, or community edition, or something that you're stuck with, but you don't have a straightforward answer to. You will see that forum is like the second best resource in getting answers to that. So
Okay.
definitely leverage that.
I have a question here. So, means on the forum, I can discuss the real-time challenges if I'm facing any
Absolutely.
in the whole practice or during my work.
Yep.
I can directly come down here and post and ask the help to the people so
Yep.
they can help me. Okay. So this is cool actually. This community is cool.
So before you, so yeah, and of course, so since we are on this, and I am going to use this as on the channel, on my channel as well. So
Okay.
for anyone who watches this in future, I just wanted to stress on this topic. So before you create, let's say, a new topic about to post your question, so first of all, of course, forum itself has a really good workflow in asking you or helping you with the perfect topic. For example, you actually have a problem or question, so you could just use the first uh, the go-to option, or you actually found a problem that's not working, so you could report that and people can give feedback on it. So there are a few different types of posts.
Oh,
As you go through the flow chart or the workflow, it'll give you more and more options as to streamline or exactly narrow down to what your problem really is. So let's say you're having a problem in studio because it's giving you some error that you can't really find an explanation for. So you could drill down and get, it'll help you get down to the perfect category so that people can answer in those categories. So that is what you'll see here. For example, someone has a question about UiPath activities, and specifically in Microsoft Excel. So then
okay.
just by looking at those tags, if I wanted to only solve Excel questions, I
Yeah.
could literally click on it and it'll filter for Excel only. So if you have a question that has Microsoft Excel related issues, you could of course use this way, or you could just let's say you have a problem in um, Microsoft Word. So you could just search for Microsoft Word and it'll give you all options, sorry, all posts that mention Microsoft Word or have anything to do with that. So if you're trying to automate on Microsoft Word and you're facing a particular issue, you'll see a lot of topics already present. This is the go-to approach. Forum also stresses a lot on this. So if you look at forum FAQ, that's like the first link on the main page.
Yeah.
You'll find beginner's guide to UiPath forum,
Yeah.
and they've given a really detailed
Step by
structured
step.
post as to how you would go about creating a topic. Search first. So that link is actually just this, and then you can just enter your search phrase. If you have error messages, you can do this. For example, you just exactly put the error message there and click
Okay.
like add the solved, so it will give you how many results there are already, and then an error that you are facing and thinking that this is only happening to me might
Okay.
be something that's already been solved for 50 plus people. So
So,
this is,
so we just have to copy the syntax error, whatever I'm getting, and I can just post it. Like I can just copy and paste it here.
yeah, just
So we
add
can,
solved at the end. So what that does is, if you looked at something like, let's say that we'll just use maybe that, I don't know if I can call, but status solved, all you have to do is just that. So if I wanted to say search for a very specific problem in Excel, and I'll just add status solved. So okay, yeah, there you go. So why the status solved is helpful is that you see this green check mark.
yes.
That means whatever the question was has already been answered.
Oh,
Someone has provided a solution, and the person who posted the question has accepted that as the solved solution, like
okay.
proper
Okay.
solution. So when you go there, it'll even show you solved by X in post number Y, right? So you just click on that and it'll take you to solution. So even if there's like 25 responses and in the 26th reply it was answered, so the person who asked the question, they would have gotten an option to say, do you want to select one of these responses as solution? And
Yeah.
they said, yeah, this is my solution. So now it's available for everyone to see,
Oh,
right? So if the answer is already there, you might not even have to wait 5 or 10 minutes and to get your answer, because usually I've seen, even whatever question, however tough the question is, you will see that within half an hour you'll definitely have received a response. Like look, that message
this.
that we were just looking at, 2 minutes posted 2 minutes ago,
Yeah.
it has already received 5 replies.
Oh, and this is interesting actually. You won't believe I had a very silly question once when I started with the practice. Okay,
Hmm.
once we open the UiPath, okay, we see the processes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I saved the process earlier day, and in the second day when I opened it, so it had other tabs, other pages inside. Like there's a main file, there's another two more files in this XAML. There's one XAML file,
hmm.
uh, two more XAML files in that
Yeah,
project. Okay,
hmm.
so when I open it, so it just shows only the main file. Okay,
Yeah,
so I got very confused. So I went back again. I clicked on home button, home tab, then again open, search that for that XAML file. Again from the folders I selected, searched it properly, the name, what I saved it. Okay, and then I brought in the studio. So that was very disappointing for me because I have also used Blue Prism earlier.
hmm.
So in that, when you open the project, you get all the tabs, all the files in the one sequence only. Okay, so I was expecting the
Yeah,
same here, but later I got once I had a word with one of my senior. Okay, so
hmm.
he told me it's very simple. We just have to click on the project, and we get the drop down like how many
Yeah,
tabs are there. So we can just
yeah,
drag and drop which are useful for us. So that saved a lot of time. And actually, it
yeah.
took 2 hours for me to get down to this solution. But he just
Oh,
like replied in 2 minutes, and he just solved it.
nice. there's another important option that you might want to know about, is that when you're using design, there's an option where you can say open project behavior. So it can remember all the tabs that you had previously opened. So let's say you're
Ah,
working on 5 workflows out of 20 workflows that are in your project. You want all of them to be open when you, as it's as if you never left. It's like a UiPath Studio will come out of hibernate, have exactly the same tabs that you had opened when you closed Studio. So you
okay.
can switch to that behavior to keep last open tabs, or you can just say always open the main entry point, which is the main.xaml usually,
Yeah.
or otherwise it will just completely open with no tabs open. So you can choose that behavior so that you don't have to go looking every time.
Okay. So if I select keep last open tabs, this
Yeah.
it will just show me the all the files which I have been working on.
No. So let's say, yeah, sorry. Yes, it will. So let's say I had these 2 workflows open and I
Yeah.
closed the project, and now it's closed, right? So I'm back here. There is no project open. I go and open it again. So when it opens, so creating workspace and all of that, it should, I think it needs a restart or something for that option to be, no, it actually opened. Just took a second, but see,
Yeah.
both the
Yeah.
workflows opened by
Yes.
on their own.
This is very helpful.
The only thing you should know is that it eats into your memory big time. So it slows down performance because it loads all of this from memory. So you might want to use that with caution, or at least make sure that you only keep the relevant windows open. Otherwise, like, I have friends who have 45 Chrome tabs open at times when they're using Chrome, and habits like that can really kill UiPath Studio if you're not careful how many tabs you leave open when you close Studio. So
Okay.
definitely remember that. Yeah, so I think I just wanted to yeah, have this call to basically set us up for the future sessions. What
Yeah.
I would like to do in the coming sessions is not just talk about or go over the just a to-do list of sorts, but we could actually start getting down into the weeds of it. Now, I've designed this, so I mean the series that we are planning to have,
Yes.
I'm trying to design it in such a way that we don't actually spend time on like a UiPath tutorial where I handhold you for everything, because all of these resources are available.
Okay.
Like I already said, UiPath Academy and Forum, they are like the two biggest resources that I always go to. uh, Sometimes I'll specifically look up one of my friends from like one of the MVPs that I'm connected to and their content, but obviously my direct, like, easiest go to is always Forum or Academy. What I
Yes.
wanted to show you related to that is, like, a lot of times I'll have a question and I'll simply go UiPath Forum, Excel error code. Sometimes Excel will give you some weird codes like this hresult OX800. It will give you a very specific error. I
Okay.
literally just put UiPath Excel and then Forum. So just put the keywords. The search engine optimization for Forum is so good that you'll always find that, like, at least in the top one or three, top three.
Wow. Ah.
But here you're seeing 3 top results, all from just UiPath Forum. All I did was I just put the words UiPath and Forum in them, because this is not even so. Just as an example, and I picked this one intentionally. This is not an error code that is only limited to UiPath. This is
Okay.
Microsoft Excel error code. So Microsoft Excel could error out in a VB project, in a C# project, in anything that you build. If Microsoft Excel is involved, you might get that error. But just putting the words UiPath and Forum
Yeah.
gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically the whole page just UiPath forum results.
Wow.
So it's that good. So you don't even have to actually go to UiPath forum to look up your error. You literally just put it in Google and it'll take you to the right page most of the times. So look,
Again, it will save a lot of time.
and it's a already solved one. So all it took me is just putting it in Google search, and it gave me, I mean, this may not be the answer, but the point I'm trying to make is that often you don't even have to log into forum and come here. If you keep the login active, you literally just land up on the solution page, try it and move on. It's that good.
Yeah.
So definitely use forum heavily.
Yeah.
And so going back to this, I'm trying to design this such that we don't have to spend time on actually just sitting down one on one, or let's say in future we have multiple participants
Yes.
talking about this, but we make it like something like office hours, where we meet up at a certain point, at a certain scheduled time, and we just discuss something that you really couldn't get through,
Okay.
or had challenges looking up for like answer for, and then we only address those issues and we plan for what to do in the next week, so that we can get to the end result faster. I don't want to hold you back by just giving you 1 hour where I try to teach you, because we don't really live in a world where I need to sit down and teach you
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
by step. There's every resource available. So let's just leverage that, and then we'll keep meeting um, in these regular meetings where we just discuss the issues, plan for next steps, and
Yeah.
also some important ones that might actually change as we move along, like some of the landmarks or some of the achievements. You might unlock them much quicker than we thought, so then we can just speed up. That's the goal of this recurring session. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, so let's put that as an item for our next check-in, just in case. I'm not asking you to like become a solution master by 12th August. It's just that it's just so that you get a feel of what
Yeah.
it means to be in the community, because uh, being a UiPath MVP, I've seen that uh, people do put a lot of emphasis on UiPath community. There's a really healthy conversation always happening, and you could actually make important professional connections where they might be useful in moving on into your
Yeah.
UiPath journey career wise. So that's what we are here to fast track, and that's why UiPath forum is important in my opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you wanted to cover, discuss?
As of now, I got a lot of clarity, and the best part is majorly, as you said, that I can get all the answers on the forum. I just need to put the keywords on the Google and directly drop down all the answers if I'm stuck somewhere. Okay.
Yep.
Parallelly, I will be completing the diploma course, which is very interactive actually, because they ask certain questions after every module, and
Yep.
unless we complete the task, it won't go ahead. So that's the best part. And the other part, what I like, it also shows the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have started making notes of it, so which will be
Yep.
definitely very helpful for me during the time of interviews. And basically the technical language is also very important, like what language is used in UiPath,
Yeah.
or like what terms have been used in UiPath. Even that is, I'm getting a lot of clarity in that.
Yeah.
So all these sessions are very helpful, for no doubt in that.
Definitely. I think one more thing I wanted to cover. So, like you said, learning the technical terms and everything. Uh, that actually brought me to like think about UiPath Cloud. So, you said you've already joined the cloud platform.
Yes, yes, but I haven't used it yet. I haven't used it
Okay.
yet.
So, let me show you something that might actually um, be important later on. So this is a test organization that I've set up. What I try to do usually is, so this is cloud.uipath.com. After you've logged in, um, make sure that you go to the admin section here. This is the administration panel. You will be the admin of your organization once you've set it up. So this is like just a little bit being pedantic, which is, I have OCD about these things. But what you'll see is, let's say you pick up an organization, whatever you want to call it. Let's say, I don't know what you've called it, but let's say you just call it
Limitless.
limitless. Okay,
Yeah.
so it will be, when you see the URL, it will be something like limitless. I mean, it will be like half the word, and then there will be some alphanumeric characters like that.
Okay.
You won't get the organization limitless by default.
Okay.
Even if it's like very unique, you may not get it automatically. So for that, so just go to your admin here, and then go to settings and change your tenant name at the beginning, because once you
Okay.
start connecting it to place A, place B, place C, you lose the ability to easily change that. So
Okay.
this is always the first thing you should do. So once you've set it up, try to get your unique URL that is actually easy to remember. For example, I have this Monsters Incorporated, or
Okay.
the other tenant that I have is RPA for Everyone, which is my website. So try to get it as soon as possible, and then you can move on to using Orchestrator. About UiPath Cloud, we will try to set up both accounts on one common tenant, so that we can share and review work together. Any assignments or anything that you're trying to learn or trying to build, we can deploy it onto a platform where we both can see it. There will be UiPath apps, there will be UiPath, document understanding projects, etc. in future. All of that can be centralized onto that one platform, which is why
Wow.
it's important. And so I think for the next meet, we have the list ready. We
Yes.
will go through at least the two items that we've currently listed, that is completing the RPA foundation course, and becoming active on forum, which is like an arbitrary goal, but just I want you to get comfortable being on forums so that you can learn much faster.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that in the next catch up, and I'll have a list. I'll have your worksheet updated so that um, we'll have an agenda for the next meeting as well.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, Ashwin.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it and very excited.
Thank you so much for your time.
Of course, yeah, my pleasure. Okay. So yeah, we'll talk.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Bye, man.